All right, streaming now. We'll see if we pick anybody up on the stream. Because I think Crowbot was coming too.
There he is.
Oh, speak of the devil. All right, so Crowbot's in here, Gunrod's in here, Ash is in here. All right. Um, make sure is not cutting off any of my screen, is it? No. Okay. Let me pull up my YouTube, make sure my screen looks good.
Copy. I'm gonna see you over on YouTube.
All right. Let's see. All right. Everybody ready for mission making night? Like I said, I'm just gonna make a short and simple mission with multiple parts real quick. And you guys can ask questions. I'll describe what I'm doing. So first you go to multiplayer and then you exit it. Then you go into mission editor. Twitch on YouTube watching, give me a thumbs up. Everything sound good? Crowbot, you with us?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. So we're gonna create new mission. We're just gonna do Afghanistan. So one thing too, if you notice my coalitions, okay, thumbs up from Twitch. I keep the coalitions pretty simple. Like red side, I have combined joint arms, red, Iran, Syria, Iraq, a couple of them. And then blue side of like the US, combined joint blue. I use a lot of the combined joint instead of just US and stuff. Okay, so first thing I do, we're going to start, okay, where do we want to operate out of? So in light of this weekend's, tomorrow night's mission, we're just going to go ahead. We're going to do Bagram. We'll do blue. So go in and set it to blue. Do Kabul. Set that to blue. And then for our siege strike stuff, we're going to go over here to, let's make, let me see. So we'll go ahead and do Shanann, blue. So with these bases that have the heliports, go ahead and, if you don't have helicopters there, go ahead and make those blue too. Because sometimes if the guys are parked in here in the fixed wings and the heliport's not blue, it like conflicts and won't let them rearm refuel. So we'll make our target base, red base, Herat. Make that red. And then that's kind of it for now. So we're gonna start with the helicopter convoy. I'm not gonna make the whole thing, but we'll start it off. We're gonna do a convoy with an escort. We'll do some ambushes and a couple IEDs. So first thing I'll do is I'll look, okay, where do we want to set up the best route? And if I'm doing a route when the guys are going to follow a convoy, I want to find the big roads. I don't want them going through here and making turns and it getting complicated and lost. So if we do it this way, we'll put the, let's just say we're going to put the convoy here at Bagram. So I'm going to go ahead and I label everything. So anytime you put a new group down, so let's say we'll start with the convoy, I'll do 001 space hold on, let me grab my keyboard. It's not in my lap. I usually do this on my laptop. I'm on my rig, so I don't have to mess with my streaming stuff. Okay, so all caps, convoy 1. And we'll do, let's just do 4 MRAPs, place them on road. I'm going to set this to excellent. We'll give it 4 of them. And when I do stuff like this, and this convoy is going to be setting off triggers. So I can't have that convoy obliterated and then not be able to continue the mission. So I'm going to go ahead and go to advanced waypoint actions, perform command. I'm going to set these to immortal. And then I'm going to go ahead and place a single waypoint right here. Hit edit again. And then I'm going to turn these guys around. See, they just kind of fall into line. They're on road. So on your first waypoint, remember to go ahead and bump up your speed because it defaults to 11 knots. That's super slow. I'll just type in 800, hit tab, and then it defaults to the fastest it can go. So, all right, there's our first waypoint. We're going to come out here to this, come out here to this main road right here. And let's see, we're going to follow it all the way down to this main road. So I'll put a waypoint here, then put a waypoint here. And then let's just put it, let's see, where did we go? We'll just put it down here for giggles. So that'll be the end point, right? Click on edit, move it around. Okay. So that's our convoy. That ground convoy is immortal. We're going to make it go from here to here. And this is just basic stuff. So now I'm going to pick an ambush spot, right? So let's just do this little village right here. So we got buildings and stuff over here. We got some open space right here with some tree lines. Got a spot for an IED right here. A spot for IED right here. So what I'm first going to do is I'm going to go over here and select ground units. Switch that to Combined Joint Forces Red. I'm going to relabel this 002 Ambush 1. And then I'm going to go ahead and switch to infantry. We'll do a little Insurgent AKM. And that is these little guys. I'm going to go ahead and add him a friend. We'll change him to RPG. So got a little RPG team right here. So now I'm going to go ahead and click on Hidden on Map. And then once you do that, you can't see it. So we're going to go over here to View Unit List, Show Hidden Units. So I'm essentially, when I'm making these, I'm copying and pasting. I'll put these two guys down. I'll set one up here. I'll change his direction, point him over here, put this guy over here. And then to save some time, if you're going to set these up on triggers, go ahead and click on late activation. So late activation is meaning they're not going to be spawned in until something triggers them to spawn in. If you're not going to trigger them to spawn in and they're just going to be spawned in, don't click late activation. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this guy. I'm going to Control C. I'm going to Control V. Put another one right here. Put this guy a little right here. And this is all I'm doing. I'm just putting out my bad guys. And you notice I'm labeled them. So I've got 002 Ambush 3. And then put these guys right here. It'll be Ambush 4. And so like I'll do ambush, but then I'll change this sequence, the 002. So like if I do another ambush down the road, I'll label it different. I'll use a different sequence. I'll do 003 ambush, or I'll do ambush 1-1, ambush 2-1, stuff like that. It's important when you start getting into your triggers and actions that you have all this stuff labeled. And if I go to put a blue unit down right now, it'll still say ambush. So make sure when you put new units down, you make sure you go and relabel this stuff. Okay, so there's that. We'll do a few more of these guys over here. Okay, then we're going to go to this side of the road, look for some good spots. Let's say put him here, change his direction, put this guy right here, make him face north. Kind of get him a little bit of cover behind that. And so now I'll click on these and I'll Control C, Control V, setting up a nice little ambush. I don't want to put anything close right there because that's where the IED is going to go. Another one right here. And then, so if we've got helicopters flying over, you can also put some of these on the outskirts a little bit further away from the MSR. So I'll add this guy right here. And let's just say we'll change this guy from RPG to another AK guy. Because you don't want to have a bunch of RPGs down there. So Control C, Control V. You notice it's staying ambush 002, ambush 10. So I've got 10 sets. We'll put a couple guys here. Couple guys right here. And then we go a little bit further. We can put some of these in here as well. Let's see. And then do a couple hidden in here. And then, you know, we got helos coming. You can put some guys out here. It's not too big of a deal. But, you know, you don't want to string them out all the way across here because no one's going to be flying over here. No one's going to be flying over here. We're going to be pretty much hugging this road. So all of these are placed. All your ambush, we got 15 of them. So now I'm going to set up my IEDs. I'm going to go to add or modify static object. I'm going to go down to structures. And really it works on any of these. Like you can put a barrel if you wanted to. You can put one of the little cars. I don't like doing that because if you say you put a car down there and one of your guys comes running through, he's like, oh, look at that car's suspicious, and they blow up your static unit, then it's done. It's not going to work. Nothing's going to blow up. So I take the little landmine here. There's my landmine. I'm going to go ahead and label this. We'll do 000-IED-1. And so when you do that, it labels the unit name for you, 000-IED-1, IED-1. So now I'm going to take this, I'm going to position it. We'll put it right here in the trees. And then I'll copy, Control C, Control V. I'll put one right here, and it says 00IED2. So, and then that's 2-1. I'll go ahead and delete that. And then we'll go down here at the next little intersection. We'll put one right here. And these are invisible. You don't see these when you're in game. So that's 3. And then we'll do 4 right here. So now I gotta make my trigger zones. So I go over here, I do create trigger zone, plop that down, take that down to 50 so we can work with it. IED-1. And so I'm gonna modify this. I'll click on quad point, edit, and then I'm gonna set up my trigger zone. I'm gonna manipulate it a little wide in case someone's drunk driving and they get a little bit off track. So there's that trigger zone is done. So I can also copy and paste Control C, Control V, edit. Let's bring this guy right here. Also, too, I make like the blue convoys immortal because some of you guys know I don't like blasting our guys on video. I don't want to see them get blown up. I don't think it's good taste sometimes. And so I make them immortal. They're going to drive through them. It's like, oh, wow, that thing blew up. Let's roll. Keep going. All right. So that's done. And let's see, see, that's not good. So I got to move this. This is our convoy. So I'm going to put the waypoint there. Let me go ahead and add one more so they drive through it. So you got to make sure that your convoy, if it's AI, that they're going to drive through there. So remember, we labeled this 00 convoy 1, right? We labeled everything. So now we're going to go over here to set up our actions. So this is set rules for triggers. Under trigger, we'll do first trigger, we'll do ambush 1. And then conditions, I'm going to go ahead and go down here and select part of group in zone. So this is part of group in zone. We're going to go here to group. We're going to scroll down and convoy 1. And then IED zone 1. So when this action, when the convoy goes into the IED zone, we're going to set new action. And we're going to do, where'd it go? Explode unit. So there's 000 IED-1, IED-2, 3, and 4. So we'll do IED-1. Set this to like 250. Well, we'll do 500. Make it a little spicy. So 250 and Apache is overhead at 200, 300 feet. At 250, they're probably going to smoke the Apache. So you have to be real careful. This volume is the amount of explosion it's going to do. So it goes from 0 to 10,000. 10,000 will smoke the block. Like the whole village is gonna, that whole corner right there is gonna die. So we'll do 500, and then I'm gonna hit clone, drop down IED 2. So there we go. Now that's my IEDs, my first two IEDs. Now I have to activate the bad guys. So we're gonna do new. We'll do group activate, and then we're gonna do ambush 1. And this is where it gets a little tedious. And guys watching, there might be other better ways to do this. That's how I've done it. If there's other better ways, I don't know yet. So we'll go ahead and hit clone 10. And that's all I do. Just roll through here and clone these. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then it goes to the 2s. You can scroll and do these in numerical order if you want to. I found it's easier to just scroll through and do it because it saves your slot. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And also, too, you can put a group of like 20 of these down in one single group and move them where you need them, and then just activate that whole group. For me, I find this is a little slow, but copying, pasting 2 at a time for me is just a little bit more smoother when I do it. You can choose to do it a different way. You can put 20 down and then move them all. But as you're adding them, like so, if I click on this and I just click add, so it starts dragging them out here. Sometimes it get a little tedious, so I just copy and paste. So sorry, the ADHD's kicking in. So that's all of my first ambush right there, correct? So this will explode the 2 first IEDs and activate all the bad guys. So now we're going to create the trigger for the second IED. And it's kind of the same thing. New IED, we'll say 3. We'll go in here, new, part of group in zone, convoy 1, IED 2 zone, and then explode units. IED 3, we'll set that to, we'll just do it at, we'll do that one at 10,000 so you can see what 10,000 looks like. And then clone it, IED 4, 10,000 again, and that's it. So let me go ahead and, just for time's sake, I'm going to move this guy down here. I'm going to delete waypoint 1. Delete waypoint 1. Okay, so just for time's sake. Dang it. Come on. There we go. All right, so let's see. Just turn down the lights a little bit. All right, so let's just save this as mission class. All right, hit play. Is everybody still with me? Because I can't see the room.
Yeah, I'm here.
Any
Yeah, you're good.
Any questions
No,
so
no.
far?
Nope,
Okay.
you got it.
All right. Like, we're gonna make a whole mission real quick, and it's not gonna take very long. Tori ate about 6 pounds of seafood tonight. Oh, all right. Let's see. So there's our convoy. I don't know why it's running so glitchy. Okay, well that's weird. I don't know why it's glitched out like that. Come on now, smooth out. Hold on. I'm not sure why it's lagging like this. So there goes the first IED. Now the ambush has started. Here comes the second IED. Yeah. I don't know why it's lagging like this. That's fucking weird. Let's see. Let's try that again. Let me turn. Like, there's no reason for it to be lagging like that. And that was delayed. So let's go ahead and move this right here. All right. That's weird. I don't know why it's sitting there lagging. So until that stuff's activated, it's literally just 4 MRAPs on the map. And none of my stuff's maxed out. That's weird. Options. Like, even the menu's lagging out.
My mission editor does that sometimes too, where you're in the mission editor and it's just boom, boom, boom,
No.
boom, like doing stuff like that. Like, what the hell's going on? You know.
I mean, mine's never done this.
Mm.
Like I've never had it lag like this in mission editor. I'm not sure what the problem is, but we'll make do with it tonight. Like I'm at 18. I'm at 9 fucking frames.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, what the fuck? 26. Fuck. My FPS is garbage. See now ambush, they all start engaging. And see that time it didn't even set off the second IEDs.
Mm-hmm.
So see, this is where I hate DCS. Like, it worked the first time we did it. I didn't change anything, and then it didn't work the second time. So I'm not sure what the fuck is going on. So let's see. Okay, so that's there. IED 3, part of group in zone. That's all set. That's all set, and it just didn't. Just nothing happened.
Is that IED 2 though? Or is IED 3?
So I just labeled this IED 3 for some reason, but
okay,
this is set up correctly.
Okay,
so
yeah,
it's that's on 2, yeah, and then 3. Well, yeah, see, it worked the first time they drove through it. It didn't work the second time. So let's go ahead and do this. All right. Maybe we'll get better frame rates because it started getting better frame rates at the end.
Just had to warm up.
Man, that shit always boggles my mind. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, my memory is only at 30 gigabytes. My CPU's at 23%, and my GPU is at 31%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the frame rate's just all over the place. I don't get it, DCS. Do. Oh, look, a piece of candy. See, that's 500 and it blew up buildings. There goes the big one.
There goes the rest of the village.
Yeah, so you can dial them down, like for vehicles like 100 to 200. Like that thing left a crater. Okay. Any questions? Any questions on that?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, not really.
And then you can make them do different things. Like you can put a waypoint and you can put hold, like have them go to a FARP and hold, let the helo guys rearm, refuel. And we'll get into that in some other classes to where, so like if you don't have anybody driving the convoy, you can set them up to get to a FARP and hold at that waypoint, and you'll set up a user flag to where, say the Apaches land, they rearm, refuel, and when they're ready, they can go into their comms menu and then go to F10, other, and then click, convoy go. You can set up it to where when you do that, it flags them and they take off again. Twitch is like, what the big old bug eyes on the emojis. All right. So that's the convoy part. So now let's just set up our deep strike. So if I'm going to do the deep strike for the Air Force guys, let's say out of Bagram, we're going to come over here to the area of Herat. I'll make this super simple. So let's go over here to statics. Not statics. I mean, not template, statics, structures. And there's a nice HQ building in here. Big building. So we'll go ahead and find a spot in town. Let's put it right here. And you can see, you can like manipulate this and see, okay, this is the front of the building with these two pieces. So I'm going to make it, if they're coming from the east, I'm going to flip the building around for they get a frontal view. Line this up on the street. And I'm going to label this deep strike 1. So take this, Control C. Like, I know my 3060 laptop does not work better on Mission Editor than my fucking 4090 rig. Like, this is a little bit ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether it's because I'm in 2D and like my settings are for VR or what.
What up?
What up?
Y'all learning mission building?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm having some weird issues. Like I hit play on the mission and we watched the convoy roll and I'm at like 9 frames.
Oh god.
Control C, Control V. So this relabeled itself Deep Strike 2. So I can go ahead and get rid of that. And then we'll just position this guy right here. And then what I'll do now is I'm going to go into my triggers. I'm going to hit new, Deep Strike TG1. Deep Strike Target 1. New condition. Unit damaged. And then this is why I label stuff. When you start finding these single units and you're scrolling through these to set your actions up, it helps to label stuff. Deep Strike 1. And then we're going to do can action, explode unit, and we'll put that at 10,000. So essentially, if this is damaged, whether you shoot it with the bullet, you shoot it, you could hit it with a sidewinder if it will track, or you can just mad dog and AMRAM into it. But you can drop a 500-pound bomb on this big building, and it will explode it by the power of 10,000. So, like the Viper guys, if they're going to be flying 200, 300, 400 miles for a deep strike, I want to maximize it to where they can take 4 JDAMs, 500-pound JDAMs, and they can hit 4 targets and then RTB. It's not realistic, but again, it's not real. It's a simulator. All about having fun and having a good Friday night. So essentially with this one, I can clone this whole action. So this one's already set up. I can hit clone. I can just relabel this to 2. Go over here to this and change this to Deep Strike 2. Oh, that's where I screwed up. So we'll backtrack. So explode unit, I forgot to set it to the Deep Strike. So there's the first one set up. Here's the second one. We got this set up, Deep Strike 2. And so those are my 2 Deep Strike targets. So I'll do more targets on missions, but this is just for time's sake. So now we're going to go, let's see, this is Bagram. We've got about 355 miles. So you can do the tankers 2 different ways. You can set a tanker up here to just orbit. Or you can set a tanker back here to fly over the base towards the targets, and then at some point it's going to stop and go into an orbit. So we'll go ahead and try and do that real quick. But let's set my flight down. We'll say USA. Let's just say Yankee flight. And we're going to we'll do some F-16s because that's the best aircraft on DCS. Set it to client. And set this. I set this to nothing. Well, when I can put it down. So we'll go over here to Bagram. Pick a parking spot. Set the unit down. So I'm going to change this to just put it on Venom. Let's see. Cap to nothing. Turning point to take off from parking hot, because you guys know we don't do cold starts in our missions. We'll set the comms. We'll say like 250. We'll go in and say, okay, inter-flight comms. We'll go with 126. And then I'm going to go do the loadouts. Let's see. Pick a new skin real quick. Dark Viper. We'll go down and grab some. Where's the JDAMs? So, all right, there we go. Planes loaded out. We can even take off the center tank because they're going to have a tanker. So whenever I do a loadout like this, I always just go ahead and add the arm targeting pod. It helps balance the plane out a little bit. If you've ever taken off in a Viper with just the T-pod, it'll start yawing you to the right. So planes loaded out. We're going to go ahead and add a second one. So we'll change the flight group to the pilot name Yankee 1. Go ahead and add a second one, Yankee 2. All right. So we're going to go ahead and come over here. We're going to add some waypoints. So very important when you're making waypoints for strikes like this. I'm going to add. There's my first waypoint, and I'm going to come over here to altitude. I'm going to zero that out. 0, tab. So zeroed out at 3,000 feet. So I'm going to hit edit. I'm going to put this right at the front door. I'm going to click on add. And for the Hornet guys, you can type under name, be like TG1, and I'm pretty sure it shows up on the Hornet UFC, but not on the Viper. Okay, so we're back to add. We're going to add another waypoint here. Make sure we go and zero it out. I always just zero it out because sometimes if you zero it out on the first one and you start placing waypoints in other places, it's not going to automatically zero it out for you. If it's the same altitude, yes, it'll be fine. But if I'm at 30, 48 and I go to 2948 in altitude and I put a waypoint down and I don't adjust it, it'll still be at 3048. All right, so set my 2 target waypoints on the waypoints, zeroed out the altitude, and then we're just going to set another waypoint back at Bagram, and we'll go and add waypoints here in a minute once we put the tankers down. So waypoint over Bagram, landing, switch that to landing, it'll lock it to the deal. So I'm going to close this out now. So now that I have my strike flight down, I'm going to add my tanker. So we'll go over here to add unit. We'll do Texaco dash TAC 1X dash, let's just say 250 for easy sakes. So now I'm going to go find my KC 135. I'm going to go ahead and place this down. And I'm going to set it to, we'll say 27.5. And then we'll set the speed to 0.87 Mach, about 523 knots. We've been playing around with speeds for the Vipers, the Eagles. Faster is better. It's easier to tank faster than it is slower. So I'm going to go ahead and put my first waypoint. Let's see. I can put it, let's see, how far is this out? So that's 93 miles. I'm going to put the first waypoint right here. We got to change the map view so I can see the waypoints. So I'm going to put this, line it right up on that line. Then I'm going to put a waypoint up here. Oops. Add. So put a waypoint here. And then I'll put another, let's see, how far is that? That's 50 miles. So let's just do this. Okay. So put waypoint 1 right here. Put waypoint 2 right here. And so that's a 50-mile stretch. All right. So back to the tanker at the spawn point. We're at waypoint 0. You need to go into advanced waypoint actions, and this is already on here, but this doesn't all, it's not all set up. So you got to click on activate TAC in, hit edit. You have to choose the name. So click on the unit, and that's why I label this the way I do it. So with the group name labeled with the call sign, the TAC in, and the frequency, it puts it as the pilot name. Change that to ACE. So if someone's on F10 map and they click on this unit, it'll pop up with the information right here, and you'll see group name. It'll say TAC in 1 Texaco 250. So we're back at our spawn point. Sorry, I know I jump around a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to need to add to this. So this is at the very original spawn point. So we'll click add, perform command, immortal. I'm going to move that up to number 1. We're going to add unlimited fuel. Unlimited fuel has to always be in the number 1 spot here, or it will not work. If you have SAM threats or air-to-air threats, I don't want the tankers getting chased. It's again, it's not realistic, but I don't want the red fighters messing with the tankers. So go ahead and click another add, form command, and invisible. So with it invisible, none of the Red 4 aircraft AI will go after it. They'll go after the fighters, the strikes, and stuff like that. So that's fine for your spawn point. So now we're going to go back down to waypoint 1. So click on waypoint 1, and I'm going to add a waypoint action. I'm going to click on perform task, orbit, 27,500 feet, bump this up to 523 knots. And so this says racetrack. So with this action set on waypoint 1, the tanker will now orbit between 1 and 2 automatically. It'll fly to 1, then it'll start orbiting back and forth between these 2 waypoints. If I don't have waypoint 2, it'll just orbit and circle waypoint 1 in a bank. Most of the time we don't want that. So 50 miles, that way guys have a chance to refuel before it turns, as not all of us can refuel in the turn. And then what I'm going to do right here, which is different than just placing this on the map and letting it go, I'm going to put stop condition, user flag, and we'll do flag 1. Or actually, I'm sorry, we'll do flag 2. So this will come in handy here in a few minutes. So I also forgot, we're going to click on the tanker for late activation on the tanker. And make sure in all your waypoints that tanker is still here in the waypoint actions. So it's still there. It's right here. So now we're at waypoint 2. I'm going to go ahead and give it a waypoint back to Bagram. And then we'll make it land. Get another waypoint and then landing. So now we have our tanker set up. Here's what an important thing. Control S. Save your progress, or it'll bite you in the butt. You'll do an hour worth of work, and then it'll freeze up, crash, and you'll lose all your work. So note, always save. So now we're going to go into set rules for triggers. So this is all of our helicopter stuff, right? So now we're going to do new. And now we're adding the triggers for the flight group to spawn in the tanker. Correct? So here we go. So let's just do tanker on. And you don't do a condition. We're going to go over here to actions and go to new. And we're going to scroll down and we're going to look for radio item add for group. And we're going to find Yankee Flight. So there's Yankee Flight. Name, tanker on. Flag 1. And so that's it. So that action is now set. That gives us the option when you slot into the flight group for Yankee Flight and you go to your comms menu, F10 other, you'll see like number 1, tanker on. So now we've got to set the action to trigger it. So we'll do new, tanker on, and we're going to do flag is true. So flag 1. So when you do your action, the flag 1 pops up and we'll do group activate. Group activate, Texaco, TAC 1. So control S. And there you go. So now my tanker is set up to the flight group Yankee. So you'll have them in the comms menu. When everybody's ready, you get lined up. You'll go in there, activate it. The tanker will spawn in. You guys can take off. So now what we're going to do is we're going to set a new one for you to trigger the tanker to go home. So the way we have it set up, this tanker will fly to these waypoints and it'll start orbiting while the guys do their strike over here. And when everybody's ready, they'll head back to the tanker. They'll join with the tanker. When everybody gets over there, then they'll activate it to fly home, and they can fly home with the tanker. This is only like 355 miles, 700 miles round trip. So you wouldn't necessarily have to do this, but if you do it on a larger scale, like Syria, and you're flying 600 miles, yada yada, or if you're flying like we did the other night on this map. So now we're gonna go new, tanker home. And we're going to add this. You don't have to put a condition. And you'll do radio item add for group. Did I make that right on the last one? Let's see. Yes, okay. So radio item add for group. We'll go down and select Yankee. And we're going to do tanker RTB. And remember, we set the stop condition on the orbit to flag 2, correct? So change that to flag 2.
Yes.
And now, when we spawn into our F-16, we'll have those options. Show you what that looks like real quick. Dun, 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 dun. All right, let me hop in this F-16. Get 1 frame a second. All right. So F-16, comms menu, parent menu, F11, F10. So there you go, tanker on, tanker RTB. So we'll go ahead and hit F1. There's a tanker. There's Bagram. So Oh, I don't have the, let's see, speed up. Oh, I'm not clicking that. So essentially, the tanker will fly in, he'll go to the waypoints, and then when you guys are done, everybody's caught up, you'll go back to your comms menu. All right, we're ready to go home, tanker RTB, and that tanker will fly home. So a little bit of advice though. So let's see, we've got the tanker. So here's the waypoints. So the tanker is going to orbit between these two waypoints. If you hit our tanker home as it's already heading back to waypoint 1, it's going to go to waypoint 1 and then go to waypoint 2 and then go home. So if you're the guy in charge, your flight lead, and it's up to you to trigger the tanker home, maybe wait till it crosses waypoint 1 and it's heading back to 2. But it really doesn't matter. But I'm just pointing out that if it's heading to waypoint 1 and you hit it, it'll go back to 2 before it goes home because it's going to just follow the flight path that we set up. But essentially that's it. The tanker will fly over here. You guys do your strike. You can fly with the tanker, then go in, do your strike, and then all your wingmen meet up at the tanker after they conduct their strike. And then once everybody's met up, you hit your comms menu, tanker RTB, and the tanker will head home. You can fly with it. Like I said, it's not always needed, but we've had fun flying with the tanker. The other way to do it is just put the tanker out here at the halfway point, set it up to an orbit without all those extra steps, and it'll just sit here in orbit. And you don't have to have it fly over the base. You can literally just have it sitting out here. So that's a different way to do it. Any questions on the deep strike? Nope.
No.
Okay, so one last thing I'll add just for reference. So we set our target waypoints, correct, for the F-16. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to set some flight paths. So I'm going to go ahead and add a waypoint on the tanker's first waypoint. Click on edit and put that in. So now the guys know when the tanker is going to break off. So if we're in that F-16 flight group, we meet up with the tanker, we're going to have a flight path, or even the 18s will have waypoints on his path. So the tanker will fly this route, we'll fly with them, and then you can even go as far as adding one. So we'll skip to 3, and then we'll go ahead and add one up here. Edit. So you can add waypoints out of line, and then it'll adjust everything for you. So there's waypoint 4 for the Vipers, waypoint 2. And gentlemen, as you make these, what I would do is I bring up my notes on my phone, like my notepad on my phone, and as I'm making the flights, I'll type in the information. Yankee flight, comms, waypoint 1 is rendezvous, waypoint 2 is target 1, waypoint 3 is target 2, waypoint 4 is tanker rendezvous, waypoint 5 is home. So I write that stuff out as I go, and it's a lot easier than going back and doing it later on. And if you have an app on your phone and you write all this stuff out, make it look good, then you just screenshot it and you can upload those right here into the briefing panel. You can upload your knee boards essentially right here, and guys will have them, or you can upload them to the Discord. When you run the mission, guys can download them, and then if you want to get into it, you can start making the patches and putting them, make fancy knee boards and all that. But it helps to write this stuff down as you go. And don't do the knee boards until you're finished. Make sure everything's finished. You don't have to add nothing, but write everything down as you go. Okay, so Deep Strike is complete, but here's the catch with the Deep Strike. So we're going to go over here to Herat. And if you notice, here is create and modify templates. So some of these already have pre-made templates. You have all these different countries, and let's just say I have Russia. Here's Russia. Russia has a whole list of SAM templates that are already made. So we're going to go ahead and take a SA2. We'll put a SA2 down here. Let's see, where can we put it? Put it right here. So there's our SA2. You can change the angle, the heading. We'll do it like this. And so now I have an SA2 site. I'll kind of move these around. These aren't all. And you can customize and make your own templates. So let's just say I modify this template and I change it. and I want to save it, you'll go over here to create modify again, and you'll see, oh, I fucked up. So if you notice, it automatically set it as convoy 2. So let's go ahead and delete that. I'm going to place a small ground unit here. I'll do SAM 1. Small ground unit. Okay, that's on there. Delete. So now I'm going to go put my Russia template down. Let's just do an SA6. So there's my SA6. I'm going to click on the 6, and now it's labeled SAM1. And the unit names are SAM1, SAM2, all that. So if you guys change this up a bit, so like I don't need these little trucks. These are your cargo vehicles, and you notice they have a cargo resource ring. So if this is outside of the base cargo, that ring around the base, these will supply your SAMs so they don't run out. If you're putting them on base, that's why I say you can edit and make this template to where you can get rid of all these extra units to where you just have the radar and the launchers. And then you can go over here, it's selected. You go over to templates, and you can save, create new template, SAM1. Let's just do a little, let's see. Get rid of that, 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 and get rid of that. So now I have a SA6 site with just the launchers. I'll move them a little bit close together. So if you need to move the anchor point, you can hit Control, click on the 1 and move it, and then let go, and then you can move these independently. And then, because if you click on one, it moves them as a whole. So now I have this is considered, I consider it a base SAM site. I don't need all of the extra trucks. And if you start running into different issues with overloading your server or making the mission file too big, because everything counts. Every little vehicle you add in and static you add in counts towards the load. So I can go and save this for the future, create modify template. This is under Russia, or I can change it and put it under, let's just do Combined Joint Forces Red. And I'm going to rename it Base SA6. Save template. So now, oops. So now I can go over here. There's SAM1. I can go back under here to templates. We'll go down to Combine Forces Red. And here is stuff I've done. Let's see. Did it not save it? Maybe it's under Russia still. Yep, so it stayed under Russia. No matter, I changed it, but it stayed under Russia. So there's base SA6. Put another one right here. And so these are at the bases. They're going to be fed by the base. And so now we've got 2 SAM sites. So I'm going to leave these 2 active. And what we'll do is I'm going to go down to Shanad. I'm going to go ahead and click on the Almighty Viper again. So we'll do aircraft, go back to USA, or you can do combine. When you do combine, it gives you a lot more liveries. It gives you all the liveries versus just the US liveries. So we'll just do Weasel Flight, which helps because the Weasels actually have a call sign on here. So we'll do F16, change this to client. We'll go over here to parking, put 1 down, set to parking hot. Go ahead and change the comms. We'll say 251. Change the screen name to Weasel. Weasel 1. I'll go ahead and set my comms in here. 251. We'll do, let's say 12. What was the other flight? It was 126. So I'll pick and choose. Sometimes I'll do intercoms on UHF. Like if I have a CAT flight and they have an AWACS, I'll do their intercoms on UHF so they can be with the AWACS. I'll do global comms on VHF, and I mix them up, so it's not always the same. So we have our flight down. We're going to go ahead and switch this to seed. We'll go load them out. Change livery. Let's just do, where's my chili? That's the cool one. Camouflage. We'll throw him. So load him out. He's got everything he needs. So we'll go ahead and hit Weasel 1. We'll make another one, Weasel 2. and then we'll give them some waypoints. So for this one, I'll do for the Vipers, it works. I'll do waypoint 1 on base, landing refuel, and then I'll go over here, give them a waypoint at Herat. I don't necessarily put the waypoints on the targets for seed. So we'll do landing refuel. It snaps the waypoint 2, and then edit. So now there's your Weasel flight. So they have their waypoint. They'll go over here and they'll conduct flight. But here's the little surprise that we're going to do. So I'm going to go over here and I'm just going to put, let's see, let me just do this real quick. Okay, so it's already set. Let's just go back to Russia. We'll do an SA2 site. So I'm going to put this little SA2 site right here. Spin it around. And so let's see. We have SAM3. So then I'm going to go over here. Let's just do this. Base, we'll turn it back to an SA6. We'll just find a little campground right here. Put that guy right there. And you'll see that SAM4. Here's the trick. Late activation. Click on the SA2 site, late activation. Now here's the fun part. We're going to go over here and we'll make us a little bitty trigger zone. I'm going to name this Sambush 1. Whoops. Sambush 1. I'm going to just leave it like that. Copy, Control C, Control V, Sambush 2. And here's a little surprise. Let's see. We'll do Sambush 1. And we'll do part of coalition in zone. And we'll change this to blue. Change this to Sambush 1. And change this to airplane. And then we're going to go group activate. Group activate. And we're going to do SAM3. We'll clone this. Relabel this to 2. Go over here and change this to 2. And then it's going to activate SAM4. So there we go. So now that is proximity ambushes. So if a blue unit aircraft flies into either of those zones, it'll turn those 2 SAM sites on independently. Now here's another thing that we'll do. So we're going to go ahead and set red air to air. So we'll do a new flight group. We'll do red QRF1. We'll go pick a couple of, let's just say MiG 29 S's. Set them to random. I'm going to go ahead and place this down here. Take off from runway. Go in here. We'll load it out. And we'll do late activation. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a couple waypoints. We'll put a waypoint out here. We'll say 10,000 feet. We'll do 550 knots. And then I'll put another waypoint south. And it's same thing, 10,000 feet, 550 knots. So now we're going to go advanced waypoint. We're going to go back to 0. And where it says cap, we're going to click on edit. Search and engage in zone. So now you got this little circle right here. We're going to drag this back over the airfield. We're going to increase the range. Let's say 150,000. Oh, too far, too big. So we'll do 50. So there we go. So now we've got a 550,000 radius. So late activation. Now we're going to go ahead and start and put down a new trigger zone. And we'll label this red QRF1. And we're going to make this a pretty decent sized zone. We'll do, let's see, 15,000. So we'll do 15,000, and you can use whatever you want. Now here's the fun part. So we're going to go to triggers, New red QRF1. We're going to do missile in zone. So there's missile in zone. We're going to go down here and we're going to find the AGM-88. AGM-88C, that is your harm. We're going to pick red QRF as the zone. And then we're going to do group activate. And red QRF1. So now you have this zone right here. And it's only 2 miles, 2.5 miles from center. So when a harm comes in this zone and hits one of these targets, it doesn't even have to hit the targets. If there's a harm that enters this trigger zone, it will spawn these 2 MiG-29s to take off from the runway. And they'll take off and they'll start looking for anything in that trigger, that engagement zone that we set, and they'll engage it. So essentially you go in there and pop off your harms and you're engaging the seed, and then, oh shoot, here come MiG-29s, they're launching MiG-29s. You start defending, you accidentally fly into the sand bush, and then that turns on next to you, and just all hell breaks loose. Very engaging. So, and you don't have to put like the red QRF there. You can put the red QRF up here. Give them some time and just put your waypoints down. So in fact, let's go ahead and I'll show you guys we can move that. So I'm going to click on the group. I'm going to drag it up here to Qual. And honestly, if you really wanted to be safe, you will start these guys in air. Instead of take off from runway, we'll go ahead and do turning point. We'll put this at 10,000 feet already. And we'll put them at 550 knots. And so now this guy will just spawn in air. That's your safest bet. You can do takeoff from parking. You can do takeoff from runway. It's not foolproof in DCS. Many of planes, they've spawned in, and for whatever reason, they don't actually take off. They get lost taxiing out, whatever. So if you want to be safe, set them to take off, set them to be in air already. So under here, we're on our spawn point for a red QRF. I'm going to go over here and edit a couple things. So we've got search and engage zone. So we have to edit that now. So remember, we did search and engage zone, and it's limited. So it's wherever this is. Now, if this is far away, we can make this bigger. Let's just add a 1 right there. So see, that's still not a lot. We'll do 5. So now I have this big trigger, this big search and engage zone. The reason you don't want to make it small and limit it to here, because if it takes off here and your engagement zone, search and engage zone is only this big, it's not going to do anything until it gets into that zone. It's just going to fly. So even if your guys fly over here, or if someone flies from here and starts engaging them, they're not going to do anything because they haven't been set up yet. So we have this big zone. It covers where they're at. So I can go ahead and knock this down a little bit. So we'll do 1 more, 3. So there you go. So it's just on the outskirts. We're going to set this to air, turn helicopters off. When I make missions, I don't want the red QRF fixed wings shooting down all of my helicopters. Sorry guys, you want to do it a different way, go for it. But I hate helicopters when you fly 50 clicks and you just get smoked by aircraft that you can't shoot down, right? It's not fun for the helicopter guys. But you can adjust these to go after whatever you want. And so then there's that. That's it. So if this starts getting engaged, the SAMs will pop off. This will trigger once they shoot off a harm in here, and the fun begins. So, but what we've set up now is now we have a seed operation ahead of the strike operation. So this all has to get taken care of before these guys can enter that area. And if they have to hang out with the tanker, they can. But I'm hoping with 355 miles from Bagram to target that your seed guys can take care of these things. And you can mix these up, like these little sand bushes, you can make them shore rad, you know, you can do whatever you want, whatever SAM sites you want. It all works. And then that's kind of it. If you want to have something for your seed guys to do, you'll do the same thing with these. Like you'll go and put some targets in here, or if you have base resources, you can set them up to target these base resources. But I always try and offer the seed guys a strike. Or hey, you hit your SAM sites, now conduct deed, go bomb the SAM sites. But seed is eventually, hey, you run in there, shoot the harms down, or take out the SAM sites, and then you kind of call it a night. Like you don't have anything else to do, so you can add in a strike for your seed guys if they want to continue flying a little bit longer. I've even thought of every now and then, if we do a deep strike like this, we can have the seed flight, that if guys that want to do seed want to air-to-air refuel, we can put them with these guys. They can fly in, they can tank, and then the seed guys can break off, conduct seed, and the bombers hang out. And then once this is clear, the bombers can roll in. But if I do that, it's going to be a completely self-contained submission. You got to find guys that want to air-to-air refuel. Not everybody's going to want to. So if I did that, I wouldn't have these guys down here doing seed here. I would have them somewhere else doing short seed, short strikes, kind of making a submission separately for those guys. Do I have any questions so far? It's 10 o'clock.
Sorry, yeah. Do you have to? So I was working on this, and I had to set my SAM sites to alert status red to actually get them to fire at anybody. And maybe I was doing something wrong.
So you don't have to.
Okay.
They should fire. So let's just go ahead and test that out. So I'm going to put we'll just do a blue F-16 ace. Just put him right here. Make him 25,000. Do Mach 1.0. And I'll give him a waypoint. All right. So I didn't do anything. All I did was place those. So let's take a look.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, we'll even just make those. We'll undo those. So we'll see what happens. And let's see. Delete. Just for testing purposes. Set tasks, set options. Reaction to threat. No reaction. And just so he doesn't die. Immortal. Let's see. Let's just go ahead and do it to climb. So this will be interesting. I'm going to flip my autopilot on as soon as we get in there. And he's just going to fly straight and meet Jesus. I had like 11 people watching earlier. All right, so there's our cap. Okay. Autopilot is on. Yep.
There you go.
Yeah, they're already.
Right away.
Yeah, they're already lighting it up.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so you shouldn't have to do that. But what you can do is, so like say you have an SA6 site that's mobile, right? You can make them a route and you can set it to green while they're driving, and then you can put a stop point and put hold for like 10 minutes at one waypoint, and on that waypoint that they're holding, set it to red. See, they're already.
Yeah.
I was just gonna.
God damn, that's a big ass missile.
Yes.
Yeah.
And watch, it's got the two
An
stages
SA6,
too.
yeah.
Oh look, there's another one ahead of it. Boom. Oh, that one missed. That one just straight missed.
But not that one.
Yeah, see, they're rolling out. They're just looking. Well, he is at Mach 1. That one didn't.
That's motherfucker.
Let's see.
He's slowing down now, yeah.
Well, he missed. He hit his waypoint now. Look, you see all the sands going off back there. So yeah, I didn't change anything on
Okay.
those. Like a SA3's got a very short kill box, a very small kill box too.
Mm-hmm.
And then if, like, say you put a SA6 and a SA2 together, sometimes they don't. Sometimes I think they conflict, and like, oh, you got it, no, you got it, and they just don't fire.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Oh, that was an SA2.
Holy shit.
So, but you see, they all work.
Okay.
All right. Let's see.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Da-da. All right. So there's that. We can go ahead and delete this dude. We'll set this back to late activation. But see, I like doing them little sand bushes because it keeps the guys on their toes.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, hey, it's very unlikely, but they might not fly through these trigger zones.
Mm-hmm.
You can also do, here's something else that I'll show you guys. Let's just say we can delete this. Probably about maybe 30 more minutes and I'll wrap it up. Show you a different option. So let's just go here. This is our main SA6 site, correct? So I'm going to click on this unit and it's unit name SAM11 and I'll do, let's just say trigger unit. So now I can set a different condition. So this is my SAM at the base, and then we'll do trigger TRI trigger unit on SAM2-1. And so I got rid of those activation zones. These are still late activation. So here's what I'll do. So this is SAM4. So we'll go in here, delete, we'll do SAM Bush. We'll click, these were the actions that I had. So this used to say, you know, group in zone. So we'll do unit dead. Unit dead. And you're going to go down. And this is why labeling is so important. These are all units, right?
Mm-hmm.
So SAM 1-1 trigger unit. So when that radar, that SA6 radar gets shot and killed, now it's going to activate that SAM.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have proximity zones. When this radar gets killed, this SAM will activate. So we'll do SAM3. Go down here, same thing. Unit dead. So unit dead, or you can even do unit damage. Unit damage is more reliable. You know, so if they hit your radar unit and damage it at all, it'll trigger the new one. So like if they hit the radar unit, it's 99% damage, but it's not dead yet. It'll still work, and then we'll do group activate SAM4. So essentially, when this one's dead, it'll trigger this one. When this one's damaged, it'll trigger this one. I always kind of use the damage to be on the safe side, depending on the targets. And same thing with your bombing targets, like these that we set to, I'm pretty sure we set unit damage, didn't we? Yeah, unit damage. So when you can hit that with a gun, and watch, I'm going to show you all that too. Let's put me a little, let's just put me a little tanky tank down here. Where's my, oh, let's go to armor. Go to Abrams. Oh, nope, that's not the one I want. The nice Abrams. Okay, so we're just going to put a little tank right here. I'm going to stick it right there, point it at it. Player can drive. Let's just for additive. Remember in Independence Day where they had the little striker on the highway in Houston watching the atomic bomb go off? Yeah. So let's see. Weapons perform task. Wait, set option. ROE. Weapons hold. All right. Now we're gonna go watch the fireworks show. So we still got 3 watching. I'm guessing it's Otang and Twitch still watching, and then someone else. Maybe Simper. Oh, Simper is going to come back and watch the video later. All right.
Kung Fu's here.
Do what?
Kung Fu's here.
Kung Fu's here. Kung Fu's here. Great. All right. I haven't looked at the chat room, and so I don't know who all is in here. All right. I blew the building up.
Oh, nice. It all fell apart just like Oklahoma City building.
Well, that's how that one is modeled, but essentially the same thing. If you want to test the stuff in Mission, you put your little tank down there, set it to Immortal, set it to Weapons Hold, and then when you hop on the F10 map, if you've got combined arms, you can just hop into it and shoot your target and make sure it blows up. So let me try that again with something that you guys can see. Let's change this to Scout Humvee. Or actually, where's my favorite little Vulcan? There's my Vulcan. So now I'm going to just kind of turn this so we're facing the building. Actually, I'm going to change this to something different, because that's not a super big explosion with that one. Let's do, there we go. All right, now I'm going to go check my trigger, steep strike, exploding unit, workshop A, so that changed. Okay, so now I'm going to change, that's on a Vulcan. So now we got a little bit better view than in the tank. Boom, big boom. All right, back. All right, combine arms. Oh. Okay. You son of a beach. All right, hold on. All right, here's what I'm gonna. It didn't work. So let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Oh, nope. Okay, Control C, Control V. Let's just do what I do for the small targets. Like, say I've put a target on a house that's already in the game, right? I'm going to go down here. I'm going to grab me a little 40-foot container of Simtex. Let's see, a little 40-foot container. Turn this thing sideways. Let's label it for fun's sakes. Big bomb. Now we're going to go into actions. We'll just clone one of these. Unit damaged. Big bomb. Explode unit. Big bomb. 10,000. All right, let's go. So say I find, just real quick. Say I'm like, okay, here's this house. There's a HVT in there. We're going to put this as a strike package. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to make me a little container, 20 foot, or even a landmine. You can put it right on top of the building. And I'm going to set it to explode on damage. And it'll maximize like the guy's bombs. You know, same theory with instead of blowing up, making the target a static unit, use a target in game already, put a Connex container down, and set that Connex container or the landmine to explode on damage, and it will. And then you can even go as far as like scenery destruction. Let's see. All right. Bam! So all I did was shoot that little Connex container, and it blew up to 10,000. And it took out the surrounding city block. So essentially, you can set those up, like those little containers up at a bunch of different targets. Like, hey, this is the strike target. This is the guys that are hitting. You know, this is going to be Venom Flight's target. You go down here and change this to landmine, right? You can put that landmine right there. It's not visible. They won't see it sitting there. But when they drop a 500-pound bomb on this building, it'll damage that landmine, and then that landmine will detonate and blow up big. And it looks really cool in the teapot. Now, I've done it to where I put like 6 of these on one building and all daisy chained them to blow up on damage, but sometimes the server doesn't like that stuff. I've had some nights where I had like 30 landmines under a big section and the server doesn't like that. But that's pretty simple. So, especially in your aircraft that are limited with ordnance, like the Viper can only carry a very small amount of ordnance with fuel tanks. A guy can come over here, drop a 500 pounder on this building and completely obliterate it and still have 3 more to go. So that's just a little tip. I call those the spicy containers. You can do it with containers, landmines, cars, whatever you want. I have any questions? Any more questions so far?
No, sir.
Does anybody want to learn now? So we're kind of done. This is kind of it for this mission making on this one. Does anybody have anything that they're curious about how to set up and do? Doesn't matter whether it's carrier stuff, how to set up a recovery tanker or anything like that. Do what?
I was wondering, JTAC, are they not working on ships?
The what?
JTAC.
The JTAC. That's kind of out of my wheelhouse. I haven't messed with the ship's JTACs too much.
Because I'm working on a mission on the Kula map. I don't get the JTAC to lay some ships.
Oh, so the is it within range?
Yes, it's in the
That's something that I'll have to circle back to. Actually, is Hawkeye in here?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
He's in the muster room.
So I haven't messed with JTACs a lot, but I know there's a special way to go in and set them up. I will have to get back to you on that one, Gunrod.
Okay.
But we'll I'm gonna try and do this a little bit more, and maybe I'll get Hawkeye to come in one night. Also though, so I'm gonna I tell you what, I'm gonna post this YouTube channel, same one I sent you, Crowbot, because I think he has it on his how to set up a JTAC. So I'm gonna post in Gen Chat this guy's channel. Oh shit, it's listening to me because that's the first thing that pops up. JTAC setup. Jesus Christ. So here you go, Gunrod. It's gonna be under tech section in the Discord. So anybody listening, INFLIGHT sim, in-flight sim on YouTube makes some very good. They're a little older now, but they're still relevant. He makes some really good, simple, basic tutorials that aren't my just incoherent rambling. So I'm gonna tag you, Gunrod. So there you go. It's in-flight sim, in-flight sim, and he's got a bunch of really good tutorials on there that you can watch. And I mean, he does really good, simple videos.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna have a look on that.
Yeah. So we'll go through and start watching some of his videos too. And anybody that wants to get into mission making, those are the ones that I looked and found all kinds of videos for mission making that were super hard to follow. Or like, I think one of the big content guys made one, but it was like 4 hours long. In-flight sims are a lot more basic, a lot more simple, and it's good to get you started. But yeah, there's the JTAC video for you. I posted it in our tech chat.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Do I have any other questions and hopefully I know how to do it? Because I've done it before. I haven't done enough to try and walk you through it. And yeah, I need to go back and watch that video. Anybody have like AWACS or carriers, ground units, anything like that they want to learn tonight? I got a few more minutes.
No, I think I'm good for now.
Okay. Yeah. And you guys, like Crowbot, I mean, you already know. So you guys feel free to inbox me. Just don't take it personal if I don't message back right away. But like, if you have a simple mission editor question, like if you're stuck on something, just shoot me a message. and I'll message you back when I see it or when I get a chance, and try and answer and help. And then if I have enough interest like this where we had more than one person, I'll try and hop on and do this once a week or every other week. And I'd like to get some more guys making missions that'll really help me out. And we'll start getting into more details about it's one thing to make a mission for you and your buddy. To make a mission for 20 or 30 people is a bit different. And if you're going to make missions for us, I do ask that we make them a certain way, keep them to a certain level. Don't obliterate the guys. Don't make it super difficult. Don't make it milsim. Keep in mind that you're going to make a mission. If you make it for us, what do guys want to fly and have a good time with after work? They're going to get off work. They're going to get home. They're going to crack open a beer, have a smoke, and they just want to hang out, relax, and kill some shit, do some air-to-air refueling. You don't have to overcomplicate the missions. You don't have to make them super hard to where, think about it like this. If you set up the seed and the seed is so freaking difficult that the guys are just getting hammered, then your strike guys are just going to be sitting there for a couple hours waiting, right? So you got to think of what can I do to make the mission flow to where the mission doesn't stop and we don't have hangups in the mission. And then you got to think of what will go wrong, who's going to do something that I need to prevent, how do I foolproof the mission? How do I make it, in worst terms, idiot proof? Because, and I don't mean that in a bad way, when we have Friday night missions, we're open to all skill levels. We don't discriminate, say, hey, you've only been flying for a month, you can't fly with us. I try and make it to where there's something for everybody to do, and then make it to where it's something that everybody of all skill levels can do. So if you got a guy that's a month in with a 16 and all he knows is air to air, I'm going to make him a part and it's not going to be overloaded. And that way he can do it. He can have fun. I want them to be successful. Because if your guys are flying every weekend and you're just hammering the dog shit out of them and they're just getting shot down and they're not having fun, they're not going to keep coming back and flying. So if you make your mission overly complicated and overly hard, you're going to wean down your numbers of participation. So keep that in mind. So what I would say is if you guys are interested and you want to make some small missions for like 5 to 10 people, this is what I told Crowbot, we'll run them on some nights of the week, maybe Sundays as well, and we'll toss it out there, hey, so-and-so's got a mission, Thursday night, we're going to run it. And we'll make it quick and make it small and get you guys into mission making if you're not already into it. And then as you start learning more, we'll make bigger missions. But the idea is just make it fun. Don't hammer the guys. Don't put man pads. Like I know guys like to have fun and put man pads, and you're just gonna. It's not just you're gonna discourage people from flying. If I'm defending an SA6 site and I fly into a man like 10 man pads on the deck defending, I'm like, all right, well, that was fun for the night. I'm good. If I'm already defending a SAM and I'm got to worry about man pads, I get it's not super realistic, but at the end of the day, it's a group mission. It's a simulator. We're just trying to have fun. And one thing I'll do is like if I'm going to put ShoreRad and man pads and I'm doing tactical helicopters, I'm going to note it like, hey, the man pads are out there at the airfield. You got to find them. But I'm not going to hide them in cities, hide them on mountaintops where guys aren't suspecting. So I honestly don't use man pads. I hardly ever use them. It's real, but it's realistic. But then again, it's demoralizing. Say you get in there, you fly 100 miles, you defend an SA6, you're like, all right, I'm good, and you get hit by a man pad, your mission's over. You either got to restart, or if the distance is too long, the guy's just going to hop off. So if you kill all your seed guys with man pads and they all hop off out of the game, you're kind of screwing your mission. Make sense?
Yeah.
If you want to make a super hard mission for 5-10 guys and make it super hard, all milsim, just terrible, like all kinds of, go for it. Just note it. Hey, this is a hard mission. That's a lot of stuff. You're probably going to die. And that's okay. If they want to fly it, they fly it. I'm going to be like, I'm going to take the night off and go work on some maps, and watch your distances. If you set stuff up for Apaches, like say you have an airfield that's got to be taken over, and you've got me and a couple guys in Apaches going in tactically with Hellfires, don't put us 80 miles to 100 miles away from the AO. Like 50 miles, and not even 50 miles, 50 kilometers max. Most of my stuff, like it's 20 miles or less. It's 20 clicks between FARPs. It's maybe 30 or 40 clicks to an AO where we got to sling Hellfires. Your Apache guys don't want to fly 100 miles, and especially make them fly 100 miles and then get them shot down by a manpad or a KS-19. Like, you got to be careful and adjust your targets accordingly. And you got to be upfront with your helicopter guys. Hey, you're going to go to this airfield. There's SHORAD. There's AAA. There's not KS-19s, because KS-19s can kill Apaches from like 10 clicks out. It's not fun. We don't see it coming. We have no idea. We just get shot in the face and we're dead. And then I do that 3 or 4 times. I'm like, all right, I'm done for the night. So it goes the same principle. You want the helicopter guys to have fun, and with my missions, especially for the group, I'm always going to put helicopter parts in, and I'm always going to put strikes, deep strike with air-to-air, short strike, seed. I'm going to put in elements for everybody to participate and have fun, and then I build it during the week based on the sign up, and that way, by the end of the week, I'm not fully finished, but I have a good idea of what's signed up. If I don't get anybody for this part of the mission, I don't have to keep working on it. I'll scrap it. And I'll just put on there, hey, this flight's scrapped. We're not doing it. No one signed up for it. But yeah, just keep that in mind with the helicopters. If you're doing seed and strikes for fixed wings, 100 miles, this air base to the AO, 100 miles or less. Don't make them fly 300-400 miles, have to defend air to air, defend SAM sites, and then try and make it back on fuel. Deep strike, I don't care how long you make it. The deep strike guys, the deep strikes can be, 600 miles round trip up to like 1,300 miles was about the max. I think we all did the 1,300 mile strike one night, and we were like, okay, that was about our limit. Like, that was a 2.5 hour flight. We were like, okay, that's far enough. So,
Oh, God.
yeah, 1,000 miles round trip is not bad, especially if you have the tankers at like 0.87 Mach, 0.88 Mach, and the Vipers can keep up. We found out the Hornets can keep up, and they don't have a hard time refueling. The Strike Eagles are fine. But, yeah, you can do a deep strike. 600 miles to 800 miles is probably ideal round trip. I'm not going to put air-to-air on a deep strike unless they have escorts. And if you guys see the signups, a lot of the times we don't have a lot of air-to-air. Most of this group just likes to do air-to-ground stuff. So if I'm doing a deep strike, I'm probably not going to put air-to-air. I don't want those guys to fly 400 miles and then they get smoked because they're not carrying air-to-air ordnance, or they're just not going to want to do it. Now, if I've got I've got 4 Tomcats that want to do an escort, then I'm going to put some air-to-air in, but I'm going to kind of limit it. It's going to be in a couple pairs, daisy chain them a little bit, but I'm not going to do like 8 fighter jets versus 4 Tomcats and then, get all my Tomcats. If they all get killed, then your strike flight gets killed, and then it's just nobody's going to have fun. So again, you want to set it up to where it's a challenge and it's fun, but you don't want to smoke your guys. You don't want to get them all blasted. Unless we're doing PvP, then like me and Hawkeye and the Red 4 group, we're going to try and kill everybody. No mercy. Any questions, gentlemen? I think that's going to be it for me tonight. I've still got, let's see. I still got 5 people watching. So people watching at home, thank you for joining me. We'll try and do this again next week. And then tomorrow night's our big mission Friday night. So if you haven't signed up and you're flying tomorrow night, go get signed up so I can finish the mission. And then that's it. Guys, appreciate you watching the stream. That's going to end